DNVR Broncos live, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, coming to you from Studio A, where the A stands for a winner.
Hey!
Oh, how about award?
Oh,
we're giving him an award.
Go.
Awarding a champion.
Sure, that works too.
That would work. That would work. The problem is, I just thought about it for the first time right when I was doing the intro, so I didn't have enough.
That's a shame.
Leeway.
Is that what you told your
Oh, you know what the A stands for?
what?
Ace.
Ace.
That's what I made yesterday.
Yes.
A lot of people have been like congratulating me.
Congratulations.
Feels like
Yeah.
that's too much.
Because
Yeah.
you failed so many times, is that why?
I mean, yeah, you could definitely look at it that way.
Like, what was your success rate? 0.005% or something?
If you add up all 3 years,
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But then I was thinking, like, so let's just say I took 700 shots in those. You know, I think combined we took like over 2,000.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so that means if there's four par threes on every course, which you know,
Around there.
around that, then that's like 1 in every 250 rounds. You should have a chance. But then I remembered, like, the chances get better every time you're hitting the same shot over and over again. So maybe it's up double that, triple that.
Have you ever had a real hole-in-one?
No.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
You'd be surprised how rare it is for that to happen.
I think I understand how difficult that is. That's why, I mean, the Masters last week on the was it the par 3 day when they do that, that there were like 3 or 4 hole-in-ones, just how rare that was.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are just so good. And, you know, they know exactly where to hit it, to play it off the slope. And
It's still just so crazy.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. The congratulations is dope because it's like, I want it to be like, congratulations, you conquered this mountain that you guys were climbing together. Not like, congratulations, you got a hole-in-one. Because to me, it's not a real hole-in-one.
But did you actually do it together? Like, only you did it. So didn't you leave them behind?
No, they kind of like...
Yeah, like you didn't do it together.
We climbed to the top, and like you had to hit a little button on the top. They like lifted me up at the last, you know.
You're
It's like
too good of a
astronauts.
teammate.
It's like Neil Armstrong, like, was the guy on the moon, you know?
Yeah.
But there's like the other guys who had to like sit in the spaceship.
Yeah.
They had to
get
sit in the
They
spaceship.
didn't get to come off?
I think, well, maybe one. I think somebody had to like orbit.
That would be
This
messed
is
up.
testing me. But yeah, I mean, like, okay, first of all, he was first on the moon, so he will always have that.
Right.
Yeah.
He will always have
I'm
that.
first on the moon.
Yeah, but it's not like you then waited for them to also get hole-in-ones. You were a jerk and said, we're done.
Time to
Actually,
leave.
You
Spencer
were
kept
selfish.
swinging. I was like, hey, if you want, he's like, let's see if we can make 2 now. My thing though is I think I took the lid off the jar. Like, now this is gonna open me up to get one in real life.
Wow.
And then we can give you a congratulations.
Yeah, and it all started with the one that I did on the simulator.
Oh.
Because I got one on the simulator from like, it was only like 68 yards, so that's, you know, shorter than an actual hole would be.
Is that real?
But I took the lid off.
Ah.
That's why I made it yesterday,
Okay.
When did you do that on the simulator?
like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, so you did.
Yep, I got a free bottle of whiskey for that one.
Wow.
Did you get anything yesterday?
No, I mean likes, views,
Congratulations.
appreciation,
Wow.
congratulations.
Yeah, appreciation.
Wow.
A.
A for appreciation. All right, so we have a conclusion in our March/April madness, and it is an absolute stunner.
It is a stunner that I was right. The line for the championship game. Pat Surtain, number 1 seed, going up against number 2, Justin Simmons. The S could stand for stunner because Surtain and Simmons here. And you set the line at 10.5% of the vote.
Yes.
For Justin Simmons. Hank said Justin is terrible. I'm taking the under. I said I respect Justin Simmons' game. I'm taking the over.
Oh, wow.
Not only did the over hit, but the over almost doubled.
Whoa.
18% of the vote to Justin Simmons, which means Pat Surtain just dominated this bracket. Let's give it up for Pat Surtain.
PS2.
Oi, 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 PS2. Oi, oi, oi. There we go. The only proper way to celebrate
The
it.
champion, man. Kind of went full Yukon. Just mowed down the bracket.
Very true. It's very true.
We need to do 64 next year.
I'm down.
I feel because we just didn't get any upsets, you know? Like everything kind of went chalk.
There's a couple.
Yeah, like
we got
one or
we got
two
the
little
classic
ones.
12-5 upset.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right. Let's do 64. That'll just be more of a bloodbath.
You got a graphic.
Yeah, we do. Look at
Yeah.
that.
That's hard.
And if
Wow.
you look really close, you might not even be able to see it from this far. It's actually really dope. You get the stadium in the background. Then you see in the top right-hand corner, it's the bucking Bronco that's on the stadium. And then I think...
I see code DNVR DraftKings Sportsbook in the top right.
Damn, impressive.
That is sick.
And then there's a real horse in the top left-hand corner. That's not dirt. That's a horse. It's an outline of a horse.
What?
It's actually really dope. Yeah,
Wow.
when you get close up,
Damn. There's layers to
it
this.
slaps.
There you go. There you go. Congratulations, PS2, the champion, the rightful champion, the obvious champion, and I think maybe too obvious.
I was gonna ask, is it good that Pat
No.
was it's not good that it was so easy.
I don't think so.
Because Pat's path was Courtland Sutton, which I think Court got 1.5% of the vote.
Yep.
Then he went up against DJ Jones. DJ may have got 1% of the vote. Jerry, Jeudy, Pat, what was that? That one's a little closer.
Well,
I think it was like
3%.
Yeah, 3%. And then Justin Simmons, the second best player, according to us and according to the people, got 18% of the vote. Not good.
No, I don't think that's good. Now, you could go around the league and say, okay, what would another team be? And
That's
there
true.
are some where it's very obvious, right? The Chiefs,
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes is winning that probably 100-0 the whole way through. But he's the quarterback.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You know, the Chargers, I assume Justin Herbert would win that pretty easily.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I mean,
Who else do they have?
I mean, you got like Joey Bosa. You've got Derwin James.
None of them are
he
beating
wouldn't.
the quarterback. And they
think-
shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think they're better. I don't know. This is the same conversation we've had a few times.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you just give him a
Quarterback
Madden rating, Herbert's not as good as those guys.
He is in our Madden league.
I
is
think
true.
I think Herbert, in terms of just talent, is probably the second best player on that team. I think 1st is probably Derwin. I don't know. Joey Bosa
Overrated.
is just kind of. I think Joey Bosa is like
Yeah.
pretty overrated.
Yeah.
Maybe the stats would totally prove me wrong, but like Joey Bosa was 3rd overall pick, 2nd overall pick, and he should be Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa is not overrated at all. Nick Bosa is going to be pushing $30 million a year when he gets his contract. Joey's not like that. What are his
No.
stats?
I mean, he only played 5 games, had 2.5 sacks.
Okay.
Year before, he had 10.5 sacks in a full
No.
season. 12 games a year before, 7.5. 16 games, 11.5.
No,
Yeah, that's nothing
disappointing.
special.
Yeah.
But again, like, it's not like Herbert's all that good.
No, he's not.
That's the thing. Is like, is he a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
No.
No. So like, I
He
do
could be
think
pushing it.
I think that a guy who Bosa's not there. If you get 12 sacks a year, that's a real conversation at least.
You
And
don't
he's done that
even
once.
Yeah.
you don't even get mentioned in the top 5 conversation with 0 career playoff wins.
Well, I think if you're talking about like career, and then certainly not. He's not close to there. But if you're talking about could he become this year, I think so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that might be the conversation for the entirety of Justin Herbert's career.
Yeah.
Then that's gonna hold him back from being the top guy. You're right in terms of historically.
It's so much like Phillip Rivers.
It's wild. The
He's
parallels.
just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, wild the
good.
parallels with just a ton of quarterbacks and the teams they play for. Phillip Rivers, Justin Herbert now potentially, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, kind of very similar, just storylines, even behind the numbers and stuff they do on the field. Peyton Manning here, then Russell Wilson. Obviously, Russ has not got off to the start that people were hoping with Peyton, but it's kind of interesting how there's some similar storylines with teams.
So let me ask you this. Are there any other teams where a member of their secondary would run away with the best player on the team race?
Not in the playoffs.
Definitely not.
Man, I mean, who were these elite players?
I mean, you'd look at Sauce Gardner,
Yep.
so he'd be one.
Would he win that one?
He wouldn't run away with it.
You don't
because
think-
Now that
especially-
they have Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
they don't
there's
have
that.
Aaron Rodgers
Right now
yet.
they don't. Quinnen Williams, I think after this past year would give him a run for his money. So I think it would be closer than Pat. But man, Sauce is a good one.
I mean,
that's a really good one to
It
point
is
to.
Justin Simmons, though. Like, he is like a multi-time All-Pro. Like, Quinnen Williams had a really good year, but I think the results are pretty similar.
He's also, yeah, I mean, he's also a rookie, and anytime like a rookie balls out, everyone just like whoosh,
There's that.
takes off with them.
Yep.
So yeah, that's probably a good one. I don't know, like are Cardinals fans saying like Buda Baker?
No, because
Hopkins.
Yeah, because they got DeAndre.
Yeah.
He's not really done anything for them.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still better.
Yeah, for sure.
Man,
well,
like JJ Watt last year would have been better. I think.
On the Eagles, you got some very notable secondary players. They wouldn't because you have Jalen Hurts, you got AJ Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Fletcher Cox, you got a lot of guys on that team.
That team is crazy. Like, who knows who wins that? Like, it's probably Hurts just because he is the quarterback.
Yep.
But in terms of who the best player is, again,
and
like
for
you got
this,
AJ Brown too.
For our bracket, what we also need to do to be fair to the other teams is with our bracket, we said positional value doesn't matter. And we tried to take that out of it. So for this conversation, you kind of have to do that with the other teams. But even when you do that with the great quarterbacks, they're still just sweeping this.
Yeah.
Who's the Jags' best player?
Trevor Lawrence. Who do you think it would be?
He would win.
I just don't know who else it would be.
Pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't.
That's the
no
problem.
idea either. Josh Allen?
Yeah.
For the Jaguars,
I don't
Josh
know.
Allen.
Yeah.
He's not beating Trevor Lawrence in their poll.
No.
It is weird though that because Trevor Lawrence wasn't that good. Like he was solid, but to come within
the first half of the season, he was okay.
Yeah.
He took off the second half of the season.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
he was good. 95 quarterback rating. But you'd think for a team that is in the Final Four in the AFC, you'd at least have somebody coming close to a quarterback with a 95 rating.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Trevor Lawrence is pretty good.
Yeah, he's very good. But
man, this is it. Who else would have their top secondary?
It might be the Chargers. Maybe if people really think Derwin is that good.
Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to think. Kevin Byard.
But he's not beating Herbert in the poll, I don't think.
No, Kevin Byard would beat Ryan Tannehill. Now he wouldn't beat Derrick Henry. Wouldn't come close. You'd probably have Jeffrey Simmons even beat him. And not just one secondary player. The Broncos, the final two were secondary players.
Yeah, I don't think that's good.
No, I mean, if it's not a quarterback, it's just not good.
Let's talk about the construction of what it should look like after I tell you about our friends at Pins and Aces. Ooh. Pins and Aces, the official apparel company, official golf apparel company of DNVR and All City. These things are sick. And I feel like the golf course is a great place to express yourself via your clothing. And Pins and Aces will give you the opportunity to do that. They have some wild designs. If you like the, calmer designs, they have plenty of those too. Sick head covers, hilarious ball markers. They've got it all. So check out our friends over at Pins and Aces. They're a family-owned business based out of here in Colorado. And if you use the code DNVR, you get 15% off your first order plus free shipping.
Ryan, would you say you're good enough to have fun on the golf course, or when you're on the golf course, is it all business, all serious?
I only play golf to have fun.
Okay, so then you can dress fun as well.
Yeah, I think you can dress fun whether you're serious or not.
Yeah, I think if you're really serious, though, those guys just want to lock in. They just want to go with the plane. But what I think there's like less than 1% of the population that actually should, especially if you're not, you're almost a scratch golfer. If you're not doing that, then no one really should be.
Every golfer should ask themselves, does me being in your foursome make your day better or worse?
I like that.
And if the answer is worse, you have to reevaluate the way you're approaching it.
I like that. So, I mean, Pins and Aces is for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I put my order in on Pins and Aces yesterday.
Ooh, which one did you get?
And did you take that video that was sent in Snap or in Slack of looking for a Tiny King at the Rockies game?
Yes.
I thought that was your voice behind the camera. And so you take this video and you just say, like, is there a Tiny King here? You're just sitting in the stands.
Yeah, exactly. I saw Brendan vote.
Yep.
And I was like, how can I get Brendan Vote's attention in a funny way?
Yep. So he didn't know you were going to say that?
No, he didn't know I was sitting right behind him.
Oh, my gosh. And then so he stands up, obviously, like hearing that. And I was like, That's the shirt I just ordered. I'm pretty darn sure the one he was wearing.
No, it wasn't, because his was a button all the way down.
They have that.
They have a Pins and Aces button all the way down.
That's what I got. A little short sleeve button all the way down.
In a Hawaiian.
Yeah. I believe it's their like Cabo Wabo style or something.
The Cabo
Sheesh.
Wabo.
If it's that same material of their polos,
yes, I think
that's
it is.
going to be your new most comfortable shirt.
Yep, it will be. So I can't wait.
Wow. And if you're having bad sex, go to Roman.
Wow.
Because they'll help you out with all that sort of stuff. They are a partner of ours. You get 20% off any of these things. But they have so many different options. They have the wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. If you have low T, then maybe getting testosterone levels back to normal can help increase your libido. Fun word. And Roman offers a testosterone test, which includes lab processing. And if it's appropriate for you, treatment for low testosterone as well. It's an online clinic that helps men regain their performance. And there's no waiting rooms. There's no hassle. It's a straightforward digital experience from the comfort of your home. And if medication or testing is appropriate, Roman will send it directly right to your door. Everything arrives in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. Again, we've partnered with them. You can get 20% off. So to learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to ro.co/DNVR. Get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/DNVR.
The comment section likes our new partner.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
They love it. Everyone loves Roman and Pins and Aces.
It's very true.
Pins and Aces, if you rock it, might put you in a position to need Roman.
Wow. And then you can do both of those activities for fun.
Yeah.
And pleasure.
Yeah.
Or business.
I wish I could use
Wow.
Roman to make.
You have something to tell us?
No.
I wish I could use Roman to make my golf round last 4 times longer.
Oh,
Wow.
It's a 16-hour round. That's my kind of day.
Man, you might need to see a doctor if that happens.
True.
All right, let's move on here. So the question was, what should it look like? Because the Broncos finished with their best corner and their best safety 1-2. The corner won by a lot. And I just don't think that's good.
I agree. And I think obviously we talked about quarterback. Quarterback should win this, shouldn't be close, and you're happy with that. But then who should be second? I
honestly don't know if you can win a Super Bowl in 2023 without your quarterback winning.
So let's look at the past couple Super Bowl winners. So last year, Patrick Mahomes, yes. The year before that, the Rams. Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald would have won that.
Yep.
Matthew Stafford for that season certainly would have been in the top 4. Number 2, actually, probably Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Matthew Stafford probably would have been 3 or 4 in there.
Top 4 is probably the requirement.
So it has to be in the Final 4. Von Miller would have been in. Man, damn. It's
They were
a
sick.
good Final 4. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's
A lot
probably why
different
they're in
than
the
this
Super
one.
Bowl.
Yeah. Before that's Tampa.
Which
Tom
Tom
wins
It has
easily.
to be,
definitely wins, and rightfully so, too.
Yeah.
Before that, Mahomes again. Before that, Tom again.
Yep. Yep.
Before that, the Eagles with Nick Foles. So nope.
Yeah, that's a weird one, though, because Carson Wentz would have won that season easily.
He was MVP track.
Yeah.
Who else did they have?
But then didn't Nick
He
actually
wasn't.
play fantastic, too?
He did.
It's not like
It was
he
Doug Peterson who was the architect of all that.
helping Trevor Lawrence right now.
Yep.
Before that was Tom. Before
Wait,
that,
so who would it have been on that Eagles team?
I don't even remember who they had.
They had like Alshon Jeffrey.
Okay, not him.
Their running back was the dude from Boise State, Jay Ajayi.
This is insane, actually.
Yeah.
It
Who
was
their
the
defense?
defensive
So
line,
Fletcher
yeah.
Cox,
Fletcher
obviously.
Cox probably wins.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the final team that played
They
in the
have a
Super Bowl.
sick member in the secondary, too.
Yes.
Like, was long ago, but not that long ago.
Man, I'm trying to remember. They had like Jalen Mills and another Ronald Darby, I think.
Wow. So there's an example. And then were you gonna say after Tom it was Payton?
Before that, yep.
And obviously
He was not their best.
Payton is kind of he's the one that
Exception to the rule.
he's the exception to the rule, just like, but Ryan, to your point, most of the time your quarterback isn't just gonna be in the top 4, it's gonna be your number 1.
But I
Right,
think
and
going
people
through
can
all
point-
this, the biggest takeaway is that it's either Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, or it's not the quarterback is number 1, is what we found. Because, I mean, even going back before that, I mean, it's Tom again. Before that, it's the Seahawks team. That's not Russ. Before that, it's Baltimore. And
Russ probably wins.
That's not Flacco.
In this world, though, he probably wins that year.
Over Marshawn? Over Richard Sherman? There's no way.
The fans are always going to be biased towards the quarterback if the team is good and the quarterback is good.
There's no way.
That would be very interesting. Marshawn may actually do it.
So it's an interesting
or
point
Richard
you bring
Sherman.
up, Henry, though.
But yeah.
And the question is, if your quarterback isn't one of the greats, the true greats, do you actually have a better chance by constructing an amazing roster, like the Seahawks did with a quarterback on a rookie deal? And it goes back to Henry's whole point that maybe you shouldn't pay quarterbacks who aren't in the top 5.
No, because let's go through all of these teams that didn't have the quarterback play. Literally outside of Peyton Manning, who did a lot with his mind in that playoff run to get the team in the right success. But you said Joe Flacco was one of them. Joe Flacco played incredible in the playoffs. He got hot at the right time. You want to look at Eli Manning, too, when he's had his 2 Super Bowl runs? Yep. He was like an average quarterback in the regular season, maybe even throughout his career. But those 2 playoff runs, Super Bowl championships they had, he played amazing. So you want to look at Nick Foles. He was amazing in the playoffs. And I believe also Matthew Stafford was amazing in the playoffs. So you have to have great quarterback play at the right time, so you can't cheap out on that quarterback unless you just want to get really lucky, like some of these teams have, but I don't want to gamble on luck.
I agree. But it's a weird situation. It's a weird situation that we find ourselves in the NFL, where you either have an elite quarterback or an elite roster, it feels like. And if you have that elite quarterback, then you can afford to give them all that money and the roster around them suffer. If you don't, you might put yourself in a really bad position where you're like the Vikings, where you can just be good every year and not be a contender at all.
Yeah, it's very true. Would Kirk Cousins be in their top 4? You obviously have Justin Jefferson. You have Dalvin Cook above Kirk. Defense.
Daniil Hunter.
You think he's above Kirk?
No.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kirk's probably 3 here.
Yeah,
in this case?
I think
Yeah.
probably 2, actually.
Yeah. And then Dalvin 3.
Yeah.
Man. Dalvin, we going to see a trade with him?
To Denver.
Maybe. Broncos still waiting for that other running back.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. All I know is the Broncos are not right.
So
I think, sorry, if it's not going to be quarterback, it needs to be probably a pass rusher. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the other answer is it's a pass rusher. It's not quarterback. It should be a pass rusher.
I guess Vaughn was the Broncos' best, so pass rusher has done it also.
Yep. Aaron Donald.
I think,
True.
I think it's looking at the top 4 most important positions, and one of them is quarterback, the other pass rusher, the other offensive tackle, or just a great lineman, but pretty much a tackle, and then cornerback as well. So I think you ideally want to have those 4, or if the quarterback's really going to dominate, then you could have a running back slide in occasionally. But for the most part, you want it to be those 4 positions. And then after that, for me, I want to build inside out after those 4. So I think it's okay that Pat is in the top 4. Justin, he's going to be in the top 4 next year for the Broncos, really, regardless of what happens.
How many teams would he not be in the top 4 on?
Few.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple.
Only a couple. But for the most part, you want it to be those positions. Look at the 49ers, a team without a quarterback right now. They would have Trent Williams.
Nick Bosa.
Kittle.
George Kittle for sure.
Yeah, George Kittle. And
He might win the whole
I think
thing.
he's number
and
1.
then
yeah.
you're also having Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But at least you have...
You got Debo in there, too.
You have 2 of the most important positions there.
Take Debo over C-Mac.
No.
That's positional value.
If
Yeah.
you
I mean,
would take
he could just-
Debo over Christian? After what Christian... I'm talking about Christian McCaffrey like right now. What he just did for that team.
If you knew Christian
Didn't they go
McCaffrey was going to be
10-1?
healthy, then...
Well, yeah, that's
the
what
tough
we're
part.
assuming. We're assuming Javonte was healthy for this.
I might just go Christian McCaffrey.
I would have to go Christian.
I would go Debo. Wouldn't even think twice about it.
Damn, but just listen to this conversation. You could easily make an argument for any of those. You could probably also make an argument for another one of their defensive linemen. That is how good their team is. That's why they were able to take 3 different quarterbacks, including one Mr. Irrelevant last year as a rookie, to the NFC Championship.
Didn't even
game.
mention Fred Warner. He's got to be in that conversation.
He might win it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's why they're so good.
Gosh. Yeah.
Even though they don't have a quarterback, they pretty much are elite at all the other positions.
Everything.
And do you think anyone runs away with that?
No.
Probably
No.
not, because of the
No.
conversation we just had.
Yep.
So that's
It's the same
probably
thing as
what
like
you
the
want.
Eagles, why they were in the Super Bowl
If
last
it's
year.
exactly, if it's not going to be a quarterback, then you want it to be a really tight race and a tight Final Four and a tight Final Two and then a tight champion because of strength.
Yep.
Damn. I mean, we're going to be talking to a San Francisco 49ers inside tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to obviously talk about Mike McGlinchey, but then also they're also like the Colorado NFC team as well.
And Ufanga, it's another good one. Another All-Pro.
Yeah.
You don't even think of him.
Tre'Davious Ward, also
Yeah.
really good.
Charvarius Ward, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
He's good. But Tauno
Quentin says-
Ufanga was an All-Pro.
Quentin in the comments
crazy.
says it's easily Bosa, Warner, CMC, Debo. There's just no way you can't have Kittle in there.
No. I think Kittle's the best of any of them.
No, Bosa. Nick
does probably
Nick
have to be
Bosa's their
Bosa.
best player.
Yeah, I mean, positional value for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this context of who's going to win in a vote, it's going to be the pass rusher. Although everyone loves George Kittle and Nick Bosa kind of sucks as a person. So.
It's very
That
true.
is true.
What happens if Trey Lance or Brock Purdy or who else do they have? Is it just those two? Oh, no. Or Sam Darnold comes in and after this season performs so well that they're winning this number one, and it's easy for
That
the
means
49ers.
the 49ers won the Super Bowl.
And it means they're about to go on like a crazy
They're going to be
dynasty.
a dynasty.
Tauno Ufanga, I still can't get over it. He was 22 last year and was a first-team All-Pro.
Sheesh.
That's
And
nuts.
again, like you don't even think about him when you think about the best players.
Is he like a 4th round pick?
Yeah, 5th maybe.
Yeah. Damn.
That's, man, rich get richer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when they lose Rich Scangarello.
I hate when the rich get richer and you could see it. Like, Hufunga is not one of those guys like, where did this guy come
Yeah.
from? It's like he was really, really good at college,
He was sick.
but people, overthink things. Then
Yeah.
the 49ers are like, oh, we should take this guy who's really good.
Yeah.
And then he turns out to be really good.
Very true. Something going back to what we talked about earlier, Nick in the comment section pointing out Minka Fitzpatrick would sweep with the Steelers. Probably right.
Yeah, and they suck.
Well, actually, no. I think there's another defensive player. I think TJ Watt.
TJ Watt,
would
Didn't
probably
he win
that.
DPOI? Not this most recent year, but the year
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Year before.
he is insane.
5.5 sacks in 10 games this year.
He
Yeah,
wins.
So he was
Injured.
still around more than I thought. Yeah.
He wins that actually pretty over Minka.
Yes, I agree. Minka's probably number 2 though. So I do agree with you, Nick. But yeah,
That recency
TJ
bias
Watt.
is going to be big though. But yeah, he does probably win.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess Pat is coming off the year he was, so certainly not recency bias, but he's not like coming off a down year that he had to
Exactly.
overcome.
Also, like Pittsburgh fans are going to be like, TJ Watt, he really puts his construction cap on.
There is that. Yeah.
Steelers fans would love that. Okay, guys, so who is the ideal Final Four for next year for the Broncos? Obviously,
wow.
Russ is number 1.
Yes, that's ideal.
Yep.
PS2 is going to be number 2.
There's just no way
is that
around
good?
it.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. Garrett Bowles, number 3?
See, I
Or
mean,
maybe Mike McGlinchey.
Yeah, if you can kind of cheat the system here, you're like,
Yeah.
well, if Russ is already number 1, then I don't have to worry about anyone. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he played so well, I don't need the offensive line.
or also like, what if it's Tyler Beatty? What if Tyler Beatty at the end of the year we're saying like, yeah, he's their 3rd best player? Like, oh shit, Tyler Beatty. That's like free money right
Rush for
there.
1,300
Yeah,
yards.
exactly.
No.
That's
no.
too much gaming the
Randy
system.
Gregory.
Sheesh, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Because
Then
that would
Jerry.
probably mean a 10-sack season.
And Jerry Jeudy, 4.
Yeah, I think those would be the 4.
Javonte Williams over Jerry Jeudy.
The thing is,
That'd
Javonte
be really good news for this year in terms of Javonte's health.
That would be, yeah. best
Javonte
case
did
scenario.
well in this poll despite not playing last year, though. You know, Like, I would like to see him. I don't know. I don't think it guarantees health.
Javonte was in the Final Four this year.
Exactly. And that's where...
So that's. I mean, so was Jerry Jeudy, though.
True.
So I guess when... Yeah, I mean, when you put it into this year, I don't feel as good about it thinking about next year. I'm just thinking that these guys... Well, also, though, if if Justin Simmons isn't in the Final Four, I think that would be amazing news for the question marks, for the Javonte Williams, for the Jerry Judys, for the Randy Gregory's, because Justin Simmons' play is not going to drop off. He's still going to be borderline all-pro, Pro Bowl type of player. So I think if he's like fifth and these other guys have jumped him, that means these guys have taken massive steps.
Yeah, I would say that, I guess in that world, you would say PS2 not being in the top 4 is better too.
Right.
He's
small
so
chance.
good that for him to fall out of the top 4, it probably means that he regressed.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, there's no way 4 players are all of a sudden better than Pat Surtain without him coming backwards.
Literally first team all-pro in like every single thing that voted for him. Yeah.
So you keep him up in there for sure. But I think having Jeudy in there means Russ and Jeudy in the Sean Payton offense just carved up the league.
Ooh, Damari Mathis. That's a good one too. If he winds up being a top 4 player on your team, like then all of a sudden
2
you're just
lockdown
like,
corners, it's over for the defense.
Man, that would be great. And
That'd be
also,
great.
it's Damari Mathis' birthday. Happy birthday, Damari.
happy
birthday
birthday,
tomorrow.
Damari.
What age is he?
He's 23. That's a guess.
Let's find out.
I think he's a year older than Pat.
Wow.
If
You're
that helps
older,
anybody.
man, that
We're
is
just recruiting
wild.
class wise.
Wow, Damari Mathis doesn't have like the
Pop-up.
The
Google.
automatic age.
That's a real shame.
And Henry's computer isn't
There it
working
goes.
either. There it is.
Just turned 24.
Just turned 24 with a nice picture of Kareem Jackson on ESPN.
Combine, Pittsburgh, Kareem. No Broncos. What? Yeah.
Oh,
The pictures.
Yeah.
That's
Man.
tough.
There's a lot of like great scenarios. Baron Browning,
Yeah.
probably better than Randy Gregory, actually.
Would be. Yep.
If he's a 15 sack guy, you have a young guy,
True.
cost controlled, then you're moving on from Randy and like bringing in a cheaper option to be his second guy.
And speaking of that, that's why you would actually want it to be Mike McGlinchey over Garrett Bowles, because if it's Garrett Bowles, I mean, that would be really good news. But yeah, you're re-upping. You're not just keeping him. You're probably paying him even more. You're on the hook for Mike McGlinchey for $17.5 million, so might as well just have a fantastic player in that.
Also, the more I think about it, the more I think there's no chance Simmons isn't top 4. Like, he's got to be like minus 500 to make the top 4 next year.
Yeah, I mean, he probably will be, but I'm just saying if he's not, outside of Pat, he's the guy that I can count on the most of not dropping off.
Definitely.
Man.
Maybe even more
Also,
than Pat.
maybe some Simmons fatigue in Broncos country, because not just as a player, but people just know
not his
he's
turn.
like a great person. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like the MVP. When you're just that good all the time, people just kind of start discounting you and not giving you respect as much.
I don't want to get too deep into this conversation, but why are the voters telling on themselves so much? If I was a voter, and even if deep down I was like, we just can't give it to Jokic because of the historical context, which is a dumb way to think.
Yes.
Just lie and say, I just think Joel Embiid was better this year.
Yep.
I can like live with you saying that.
Right. If you say a center that averaged over 30 points,
it's not like an inarguable point. Like, you can bring up your whatever. Why say this like, I just don't think it's right for Jokic to win 3 in a row. You're telling me you think that he's the best player.
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
When you say that.
Well, and then my least favorite one, Greenberg? Is that the guy?
Sure.
There is a Greenberg out there.
I think that was him. He was upset that somebody said that it's because of voter fatigue. And so then he said, no, it's not voter fatigue. It's because I don't think that it would reflect this era well if Jokic wins a third. It's like, that's literal voter fatigue. That's exactly what it is.
What he said was, I don't think it would be right if this era, the scoreboard was Jokic 3, Giannis 2, Embiid 0.
That's literal voter fatigue. You're literally voting against him because he won it.
This is
Literal voter fatigue.
This is not a career accomplishment. This is who is the
It's the
best player this
Yeah.
year.
It's like that-
And it's not about the playoffs.
Oh.
That's why Jokic has not won Finals MVP because he
Yeah.
hasn't done
Well,
it
he
in the
hasn't played,
playoffs.
yeah.
But it's not it's not
It's
a
so
postseason
dumb.
award.
Yeah.
Does this reflect the time period? What are you talking about? Nobody looks back to what the regular seasons do.
Zach Lowe said something today, like this is very much paraphrasing because I forget the way he put it, but something along the lines of like, in a amalgamation of the last 3 seasons of Joel Embiid, I have determined that he is the MVP this year. It's like, what the fuck does that mean?
No.
Talking about?
What does amalgamation mean to start off?
That was my word. That was my word.
That was an impressive word, Ryan.
But yeah, anyways, I had to get that off my chest because I've seen it like 4 times today.
You know where this
So
conversation
dumb.
happens a lot? It's over a couple of Breckenridge beers.
That is true.
When
That
people
is
are
true.
hanging out, you get talking, you get animated like that. You're sipping on some Breckenridge Brewery Avalanche Amber Ale. It's strawberry sky weather right now.
Yep.
This weekend, Avalanche Amber Ale, perfect time too, as Avs playoffs will start kicking off. Nuggets this Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. game, the last first game of the playoffs is this Sunday. You want to be here where there's going to be Breckenridge Brew
God.
flowing. There's no better place to be, even than Ball Arena, I think.
My heart
than
just skipped
right
a beat,
here.
like butterflies, thinking
Yep.
about
Yep.
being in the bar.
Yep. Just imagine
on
looking
Sunday
down.
night.
It's going to be so packed. Every single playoff game for the Nuggets and Avs. So make sure to come by the DNVR bar. Make sure to get yourself some Breckenridge beer for the playoffs for this weekend. And if you don't know where to find Breck beer, go to breckbrew.com. Their beer locator at the top of the screen. You click on that. It's going to find and guide you to all of the Breck beer you can need.
Hell yeah. What else?
Volo Sports. It's that time. It's that time of the year. It's that weather for it, isn't it?
It is that weather for it. Yeah, Volo Sports. Wow, I swear that was not right there. Volo Sports. Come play sports with us. That's basically their slogan. But Monday nights we're in the bowling league. I think can people still sign up for that?
By tomorrow. They get
Wow.
until April 13th.
Yep. So by
Being
tomorrow.
in a bowling league with us would be really fun. I'm just saying.
Why? Because people like to lose.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
have been talking such a big game about this.
I have a feeling Henry sucks at bowling.
You better back it up. Better back
I
it
never
up.
lose. I don't go with people who are any good though.
Actually, Henry's generally decent at everything,
Exactly.
but just a little worse than me.
okay.
So that's why you love having him around.
Yeah.
We'll
Because
see about
Good
that.
competition keeps
Yeah,
me sharp,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I know I'm going to get the better of him most times.
So that's why you never
Wow.
get better, is because you don't surround yourself by greatness, Ryan.
I actually
why
do.
am I not
That's why I
getting
play
better?
golf with Spencer and Mitch.
Because he's not greatness, I guess.
Oh, I guess
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Nothing I can pull from him.
Well, that's true. Spencer and Mitch are good.
If you guys want to join our bowling league or a whole bunch of other leagues that happen all over the place, all the way out in Arvada or Aurora or wherever else, there's kickball, soccer, volleyball, softball, cornhole, flag football, mini golf, then make sure that you sign up because the spring leagues close tomorrow, Thursday the 13th, and you can save $10 if you use the code DNVR10. Again, just go over to Volo, sign up for some sports because sports are fun and good for you.
Did either of you park on York Street? Or even our producer?
This one. No.
Yes. No? Good. Okay. They're giving out tickets right now. So.
No, street
Oh.
sweeping
Yeah,
season.
yeah. Gonna have you run out if that was the case.
I actually
There was-
got dropped off, so hopefully
Oh.
Allie didn't park the car.
There was nobody parked in the back, basically.
I was a little freaked out.
I know. No,
It was
like,
our
I
cars
spec-
being broken
yeah.
into
How much
or what?
sooner did you guys get here than me? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
By the
was-
time I got there were 0 spots.
Really? It was like the most empty it's been.
There was no, like, legitimately, I parked in the very last one that's like for the bar, and there was nobody on that side. There's
There-
like 6 straight open spots.
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
so. They all disappeared in a matter
Yeah.
of 10 minutes.
Wow.
And that's why, like, I sat down, like, I opened Slack and was like, I didn't miss something, right? Like, they're not like cleaning back
Gotta
here.
get rid of that dumpster.
That
Oh.
terrible dumpster.
It's the worst.
It's been
I-
here for like 3 months.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Taking up
We should-
7 parking spots.
I'm gonna take the elevator up as far as it goes and see what's happening up there and give them a piece of my mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As far as it goes.
I'll record. That seems
all
entertaining.
3 stories to
Is-
the very top.
Is there no other way to get up there than through the elevator? Because those stairs don't keep going.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they just have a door.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I always wondered that.
Anyways,
not
We,
getting in that
we just
elevator.
opened the door to some company drama, even
Yeah.
though it's not really our company drama.
we didn't talk enough about what it would mean for Russ to be number 1. Russ being number 1 would be one of the most incredible developments.
Yep. It means he's back to Pro Bowl, All-Pro form.
Yes. I mean, it means he has to be better, not better, but in a conversation with the way that Pat Surtain plays.
Yeah.
Because people are going to love Pat Surtain and give him the benefit of the doubt in a lot of situations now. For Russ to win the vote means he played, like you said, Pro Bowl / All-Pro level, and then he just gets the quarterback boost and wins. It would be like an absolute dream.
Okay, does 20 touchdowns and 10 interceptions get that for him? Does 25 touchdowns and 8 interceptions get that for him?
Yes.
That's Justin Herbert last year. Like I had led you right there. Right there, too.
I never said Justin Herbert was bad. I just said he can't be a top 5 quarterback until he wins a playoff game.
And I agree with you. I think because what are you talking? That's over a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. It's huge improvement, but also Russell Wilson has thrown for 30 touchdowns multiple times in his career, so we could easily be talking about a 35 touchdown, 10 interception performance from him, and that would absolutely do it.
Man, 25 and 8. Justin Herbert only threw 25 touchdowns.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Yikes.
He's no good.
Doesn't throw picks, though. That's a good thing. For him.
For him.
Yeah, that would be... Man, but could you imagine a 40 touchdown performance from Russ?
No.
That's
I
sad.
couldn't.
He's done it once.
Yeah. I just, man, if he even if he's in the top 5 conversation, top 7 conversation, things have gone very well for the Broncos.
It would be huge going from 14th to 4, 5, 1.
And 14 was generous.
It was very generous.
It was.
We probably shouldn't have included him.
Yep, that was some of the biggest outrage of this was how is Russ in here?
Yeah.
That's why we need to expand the bracket next year.
Right.
To 64. They won't even have 64 players on their roster.
They will. I think they've got 71 right now.
They'll have future guys.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about guys that we literally don't know
Exactly.
anything about.
That's just the seeding.
It's
Pat
so
Surtain
true.
is going to cruise through
Pat Surtain.
little Jordan
Oh
Humphrey.
my gosh.
Damn, you're
That
putting
would be
little Jordan Humphrey
so
as the 64
mean.
seed?
Oh, man.
Oh, no, he's a 16 seed
Yeah.
in the Surtain region.
I feel like that's fair.
If the
like it's fair.
Broncos draft Will McDonald this year,
Willie Mack.
would he fit in the top 16? Let's dive into our player preview for the draft and talk about Will McDonald IV out of
that. I love that
Iowa
for him.
State. Henry, what do we know about him?
He's a pass rusher. And double-digit sacks in 2020 and 2021. Didn't put up the same numbers this time around. But he's a pass rusher from Iowa State. He's obviously been productive in the past. Get some comparisons to Randy Gregory.
He does.
Which, if you're Randy Gregory, it works. To be the big physical type of guy. With Will McDonald, you do worry just a little bit about, does he have the pure strength? Noted there that the run defense kind of holding up at the point of the attack, not necessarily his strong suit. He's got the thick lower half. He's got the legs. He can bend. He can play that leverage well and get around the corner. But he doesn't have crazy burst. He doesn't have, I don't know. He isn't the perfect traits guy, but he has good production, and you could see how he could just out-muscle guys and get a bunch of sacks.
Yeah, and a big reason why Will McDonald is compared to Randy Gregory is 2 things.
Isn't
Actually,
Randy Gregory like 6'6"?
yeah, at the combine,
Yeah.
Will
He's
McDonald measured in at 6'4".
6'4",
Oh.
yeah.
And his arms are even bigger. Who's
Yeah.
Tyree Wilson? He has that's his name, right? Yeah.
From Georgia.
No, Tyree.
So really quick, just to be clear, we got the height wrong on the graphic.
Yes, he's 6'4".
Okay.
Yeah.
That's at least what he was at the
Texas Tech.
Yeah. Tyree Wilson, the guy that may the first defender drafted. He's has incredibly long arms. His is just Will McDonald's is just under him. His arms are extremely long, so he has the length that Randy Gregory has. And another thing that he has that Randy Gregory has is just the knack for the ball. He had 10 forced fumbles in college. 2 years
love
ago,
that.
he had 5 forced fumbles. You watch him play, and he's just always all over the ball. So he's not only a sack artist. I mean, over 30 sacks in his career at Iowa State, but he's also a guy that's going to go after the ball, be a big-time playmaker. And so I really see the Randy Gregory kind of comparison. If you look, though, in another way and don't want to be as high on him, you could say, was he just Nick Bonito as well? Because,
So that's
you
where I
know,
was going with
a
this.
pure pass rusher that doesn't have that all-around game yet.
6'3", he's 6'3" and 5/8.
Okay.
6'3", 240. Good against the pass, bad against the run. You're literally describing Nick Bonito.
It's scary,
Yeah.
potentially.
I mean, what was Vaughn coming out? Was he
Derrick
6'.
Henry.
like 247?
Yeah, he was in the 240s.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
And he wasn't seen as a good run defender either, for what it's worth.
But he also
also
became
Von
an elite
Miller.
run defender.
Yes, he absolutely did.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. I will say 966 RAS.
There you go.
So he's on my board.
And you know what makes me a little less concerned about the Nick Bonito comparison, and what also makes me even way more impressed about Will McDonald is Iowa State, for some reason, they had a 6'4", 200 and probably 30 pounds when he was actually playing in college. They had a 230-pounder playing with his hand in the dirt most of the time. They played with a 3-down lineman set, and he was typically one of their defensive ends. That doesn't make any sense. Like, what are they doing there? So he was playing out of position, extremely undersized, and he was still putting up these pass rushing numbers. And so no wonder he wasn't good against the run. He's going against guards and pretty much tackles. He's never getting the tight ends or anything like that. So I think if he's put in position, he had multiple double-digit sack seasons in college. Being out of position, what could he have done if he was in the right position? So I actually really like the upside with him. I think that he can be a good enough run defender, and I just think that what he could do when he's in position with the physical traits he has, plus the production, I think if the Broncos land him, it would be a home run. I don't think the Broncos are going to land him. He's being mocked in the potential late first round, potentially second round. If he falls to the third round and the Broncos get him, I think that'd be a home run for the Broncos. I'm not the biggest fan of the Broncos using their first pick in the draft on an edge position, because it's like the Broncos have so many kind of question marks already. You're just throwing another question mark in there. This guy may be the fourth guy in that outside linebacker room. The only thing I think it makes sense is if you get an absolute stud, and I think the value would be huge there.
Yeah, I was surprised. I just looked through, and there are a lot of mock drafts having in the first. Draft Network has him as a 4th round grade.
Oh.
And, I mean, he was on Dre's list of guys for right here. So
I mean, maybe
wide range.
Maybe he does slip.
And there's
But,
always
I mean-
guys who,
Yeah.
could. It's like you could go late first if someone falls in love. You could go in the third if no one does.
But he's
Yeah.
getting like
Yeah.
three mock drafts a day have him going in the first round,
Wow.
which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who did we talk about yesterday?
We talked about the tackle from
Jalen Duncan.
Jalen Duncan.
That's who it was. That's Dunkel. Yep. That's it's like him, for example, would be like once a week somebody'd say he's a
Right,
first round pick.
right.
And then you go back like 2 months and it's like every single one. It's like first round, first round, first round, first round. Will McDonald seems to be, I don't know if it's changed, but now everybody has him in the first round. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Probably the RAS stuff.
Yeah, for sure. RAS is taking over.
Really
It has.
has. It really. And speaking of taking over, have you guys heard of that the Wonderlic test is kind of out now? And it's the is it SAR test? There's a new test
What's the difference?
that instead, so Wonderlic kind of just judges your intelligence. This other one is about determining how quickly you process information. And so specifically for quarterbacks, that's what they're really relying on. And I think in the past, it's hit pretty right on. You know who's the number 1 quarterback in this year's draft with it? Don't think too hard.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, exactly. Bryce Young. So he's kind of getting the boost of that now.
I think that makes a lot of sense. The Wonderlic test is one of the dumbest exercises we've ever done. It's like if 2 cars are traveling at this, why do I care?
That's
No.
math. That's math, though. They're not quite that one.
No, they are.
No, they aren't. They're similar. Like, they wouldn't make you do algebra. I don't think.
Dude,
Maybe they would.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the questions.
I took the Wonderlic test once.
I think
but
it
it is a
is.
lot of that stuff where it's like, what does this pattern mean? What is that? I mean, if I were drafting somebody, I would want to know if you're too dumb to figure these things out.
Sure, I think
It just doesn't matter.
maybe there's a baseline for the Wonderlic that you want to make sure people hit, but I don't think a guy
Also, it depends on the position.
I think what's probably so important, especially for quarterback, is how quickly you process
Yes.
information. And I do
Definitely.
think it's like they flash things on the screen, and you got to identify which one popped up first. And it's like, well, that kind of makes sense. If you're sitting as a quarterback, you want to be able to make sure you can see and know how this guy's going to process information that's quick.
Yeah, and the same thing is true of the Wonderlic for quarterbacks. Like, would you generally want to draft a quarterback who you feel is like if a quarterback got a 4.0 in college, are you drafting him because of that? No, but you'd like to see it.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, certainly that's like Fitzpatrick had like a 49 out of 50.
Of course he
Wonderlic
did.
score.
And my thing is like, I don't need you to have like a 35. I just need you to not have a 10.
right.
Like, I just need to see that you have like functioning brain cells in there. Otherwise, things are just going to go poorly.
I think you're overestimating what you can learn from the Wonderlic test.
I think you can know if somebody's really dumb.
I wonder if they're even using the Wonderlic much anymore, like at all.
They shouldn't.
They really shouldn't. You know what you should
Really?
use though? Game time. To
That
go
you should.
to Avs playoffs games, to go to Nuggets playoffs games, check out our friends over at Game Time. And how do you find them? Click the link in our description. Whether you're listening on the podcast side, it's right there in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, it is one of the first links right there. Click on that, and it's going to pull up all the games. Don't buy now, though, because the reason they're called Game Time, I assume, is because the closer you get to Game Time, the more affordable the tickets get. And we've got a deal for you at Game Time right now. If you use the promo code DNVR over at Game Time, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. So download the Game Time app now. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. If you find a cheaper price for your ticket in the same row in the same section, they're going to give you 110%. So they're going to give you more money than you
Wow.
paid for the ticket back just to show that they have the lowest price guaranteed. And you're also going to get $20 off. So use that promo code DNVR over at Game Time.
Sat like 20 rows behind the first base dugout last night from Game Time. Paid next to nothing.
Those were insane seats. And I imagine our friend Brandon Vogt was also there using Game Time.
And one section over was Brandon Spano.
Wow.
Wow.
We all Game Timed it up. Weather was nice.
Yep.
Didn't even bring a jacket.
Could have, if that was your first purchase, probably could have got those tickets for free with that $20 off.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. Looks like it's $19 to get in. Oh, that's if you need 3 tickets.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
two tickets would be less. Yeah, we'll
All right,
see.
what
This
else we
starts
got,
in
Henry?
15 minutes.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, Henry, I have a couple questions for you. Do you
boy.
like Frank Gore? Think he's a good player?
Yeah, he's good.
Uh-oh,
6
I can-
Wonderlic
yeah,
scores.
There you go. But again, he
what do you
runs
th-
straight ahead. He's a running back.
Okay, that you just said. What do you think of Patrick Peterson?
Oh,
He's
he
good.
loves
DBs
Patty
are very
P.
low on those.
9.
Wow. What do you think of Vince Young?
What do you think of?
6.
Okay,
What do you think
we're
of
not talk-
Ed Prather?
I don't know who that is.
See, I think you might have if he was any good.
The thing is, though, what I'm proving here is there's no correlation between Wonderlic score and if you're good at football. AJ
You don't
Green,
think so?
You a fan of him?
Yeah.
10.
Wow.
How about this one for you?
How about Oscar
Dan Marino?
How about,
Ever heard of him?
you ever hear of Oscar
Ooh.
Davenport?
Nope.
No, you're kidding.
Have you ever heard
That
of
guy never
Dan
made a name for
Marino?
himself. Yeah.
He scored a 15.
Oh yeah, that's average, right?
I don't know.
Is
It's
it?
one
I
of,
think
it's
that's
one of the
getting up
top
there.
10 worst scores in history.
Average is 24.
What
Wait,
about
are these
Terry
like-
Bradshaw?
Are
That
these like
actually
a
doesn't
Hall of
surprise me
Famers
at
or
all.
something?
No.
No, he's just
I
picking and
literally
choosing.
just Googled the 10 worst Wonderlic scores in NFL history.
I think a Bronco would have already fallen in this range.
What'd you think of Darren Davis?
You're not proving anything.
You're not proving anything.
I gave you great players with bad Wonderlic scores.
And I'm giving you bad players with bad Wonderlic scores.
Exactly. So my point has been proved.
It is possible. Like, it's possible to be good.
The point is that
I just
your
don't want
Wonderlic
any
score
dummies.
has. You said you want to make sure a guy has brain cells,
Yeah.
and I'm saying
You don't
Wonderlic
need
score
brain
can't
cells.
tell you that.
Yes, it absolutely can.
We even have great quarterbacks with bad Wonderlic scores.
I was gonna say the one position I'd want to see it is at quarterback, at least a baseline, and Dan Marino pretty good. I guess the game has changed a little bit, but I mean, just how dominant he was, it's pretty hard to discount.
How about Oscar Davenport and Vince Young, though?
I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly.
You can't. You've already lost. So
No, no.
All right.
I'm not.
What else? Questions?
Yeah, should we jump
Super
into them?
chats? Any super chats? All right, no super chats. Let's get a couple on the website before we get out of here.
We do have questions on the website. And of course, if you want to leave a question on the website, go to thednvr.com and then click on the podcast side. We'll click on the Broncos podcast, click on the first one that pops up, and then you will be able to leave your podcast at the bottom of the screen. And we have a lot of people that left comments from yesterday. First one from Arvada Luke says, Zach, I missed commenting on the big day, but for your happy birthday, I went back and liked your last 30 tweets. Thought you'd enjoy continuing to do them numbies. Man, that's what I should ask for in the future. You're the man, Arvada Luke. He says, I have a Sean Payton and Russ conspiracy theory. I think Sean doesn't want to be typecast as a short quarterback coach. When there is a new short guy on the draft board, everyone jumps to the, well, Drew Brees did it, and he's short narrative. Sean Payton has a history of having a dynamic offense, so I wonder if he'd prefer to have a prototypical size quarterback. I don't buy that he thinks Russ is washed mentally, with last season's disaster being the sample size. There have been a few deals and trades this offseason that seem to be fairly cheap deals for the players they're for. Do we think George Payton is possibly aware or in on all of them, or do things just kind of happen and take other GMs by surprise? Cheers, Arvada Luke.
There's a lot there. But as for the last question, I think most GMs know when guys are available and what the price is.
Totally agree.
And
Yeah.
George Payton himself said in very early, maybe his first press conference, like, we're going to be in on every deal. Whether we make it and we decide it's the best deal for the Broncos, we'll see, but we're going to be in on every deal.
And I'm going to tie in another question about this from Fraser008. Says, what's up, guys? Just wanted to see what y'all thought about the Jeff Okudah trade. For a 5th-round pick, I think we should have been in on him. I know he's been up and down in Detroit, but he has never played beside a true number 1 corner like PS2. Detroit asked him to be a number 1 and couldn't do it, but I feel like pairing him with PS2 on one side would be a perfect fit. He was a top 5 pick for a reason. For a 5th-round pick, I don't feel like we could draft someone with as much upside. What do you guys think? So kind of goes in, both of these guys probably saw this trade and were like, how come we weren't in on this?
Yeah. It's hard for me to judge guys who are really good in Madden and not good in real life.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard anything about Jeff Okudah in the real NFL, but I know he's like 95 speed in Madden.
Former 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
That just went for a 5th.
He got torched for a couple seasons. Like, I think there was one where he gave up like a 140 passer rating. And then this year, I think he got it down to just below 100. The thing is, though, like, he's on a 1-year contract.
So who's the better corner, him or Damari Mathis?
Damari Mathis. Exactly.
End of conversation.
So for him, it's a $5.8 million on this 1-year contract. And then I think that the number is probably doing it more. Like, why not just go get Devin Bush? You know? Like, you could have saved money and not got a pick.
A lot more for... No, not Devin Bush. Sorry,
Exactly.
I was thinking Devin White.
And so, like, if you want to go get some
do that.
high upside defender, how about you pay less money and don't give up a draft pick? You know? It's like 5.8 in the 5th. Sure, but it seems like it's not going to work.
No matter how... Speaking of Devin White, no matter how much Twitter hates it, I'm willing to die on the hill that inside linebackers are valuable.
I mean, he was a top 5 pick, so the Bucs would agree with you.
Yeah, and he helped them win a Super Bowl.
He did.
Big piece of it.
He was really good that season.
Anyways, what was the question?
Jeff Okudah for a 3rd. For a 5th.
No.
Man, for a 5th.
It doesn't matter when he was drafted if he's never done anything in the league.
Yeah, but for a 5th-round pick, are you going to be able to get a guy with that upside for a 5th?
He doesn't. What is his upside? He hasn't
he's
flashed
been terrible.
anything.
He's fast.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I still say give him a 5th for it. But the big thing that comes in is the money.
5th is like a second to the Broncos this year.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That is true. George Payton loves those picks. The Count says, what odds would you guys give on the Broncos making a draft day trade? Love the Count.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Now, if we're talking not just picks for picks and picks for players or players for picks, I still think something like that happens.
Yeah, you're still on one of the wide receivers gets moved.
I am, yeah. And we've talked about it a ton, and there's been some listener fatigue over that, so we haven't brought it up, but it's died down. I think it's going to get brought back up again come draft week.
S. Williams II has a great question. He says, how do you leave a comment on the website again? Go into the website, drop down podcasts, go to Broncos, most recent podcast that is posted there. You can comment on it.
Click on that. You scroll to the bottom. If you're a diehard, a comment section is going to pop up.
Yep.
You leave your question. We read it the next day.
Hell yeah.
Next one.
Last one
from Casper says, fellas, Would Mark Ingram be a good guy to bring into training camp?
Meh.
I love Alabama guys. I love former Heisman winning Alabama guys. Mark Ingram's going to be 34 years old this season.
It's Latavius.
And so if you want like a vet fourth guy in the room, maybe a third guy when Javonte's back, and he's your backup to Samaje and Javonte, sure, if that makes George Payton or Sean Payton feel more comfortable. But this is a guy that over the last 2 seasons has averaged 3.5 yards per carry, 3.8 yards per carry. He started 3 games, played in 10 games last year, and had 233 yards. He's a 34-year-old running back.
Yeah. I was going to say, if he was 29, we'd be saying, he's getting up there for running backs.
Yeah.
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Sean, you can have a lot of your guys, but the ones that are retiring, let's let them retire.
Why not Latavius?
I would prefer Latavius
sure.
over Mark
He at
Ingram.
least showed more. Like,
And what's he, 31?
he's 33.
Oh, he's 33. Wow.
But what about the upside, Zach? He was a Heisman winner.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, he's super old, but he was better last year.
Yeah. What did he average per carry last year?
Oh, I have to look.
Latavius, it was like 4.
Yeah. I mean, better.
It was
Yeah.
Also, the amount of
4.4.
I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty comfortable saying Mark Ingram probably has a lot more wear and tear on his body than Latavius Murray.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Also, I'm just gonna guess at this stat because I can't find the actual number. I'm pretty sure
We love this.
in the 7 games he started, he averaged 5 yards per carry.
Ooh.
There we go.
If that's a real stat, I like it, but we'll never
if
know.
if that's real, it's pretty cool.
You know, it is real. The super chat coming in from Rickard Bohr says, what would a trade down in the 3rd round look like? That is a great question and something we're definitely going to dive into in depth over these next few weeks because the Broncos could trade up. More likely, they could be trading down.
It would be like trade down 10 spots to pick up a 4th.
Boy, and that 4th would be very valuable in George's eyes.
Oh my God. Sweet spot of the draft, as some would say. All right. That is going to wrap it up for us today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow.